Sage Rosenfels, former Vikings backup quarterback, wrote an article for Peter King's Monday Morning Quarterback website. They launched a new website called Monday Morning Quarterback based on Peter King's column for Sports Illustrated called Monday Morning Quarterback. You can find it at mmqb.si.com. You may have heard about this article. Sage Rosenfels wrote an article that's pretty much a behind-the-scenes look at the 2009 NFC Championship game between the Saints and the Vikings, which, of course, the Vikings lost. But the Saints, cheated in that game. We know that they were involved in a bounty scandal and had a bounty on Brett Favre's head, so there's that. But anyway, the big headline out of that article that Sage Rosenfels wrote is that Favre told Rosenfels, after he threw the interception, where he threw across his body, which effectively ended the game, or ended the regulation, that I choked. Favre said I choked on that play. That he couldn't get it. His ankle was busted up, and he couldn't get enough mustard on the ball to get it to Sidney Rice. It resulted in an interception. But I was more interested in the article from its insight into how the game is played. And I'm going to read you a passage to illustrate how. And I recommend everyone read this article. It's a great article, well written. I'll include a link in the show notes. But let me read this passage here. Football is based on the precision of the 11 guys on the field. Teams practice to perfect their footwork, timing, depth of routes, angles of blocking, reads, and audible systems. It is understood that the team that has better athletes, plays with more passion and focus, and executes the game plan best usually wins. But Brett's mind goes beyond strict execution of how plays are drawn up and techniques are designed. He realizes that slight movements by the quarterback, more than any other position on offense, can have a huge effect on the defense. Instead of going through his natural reads to find the open receiver, he sometimes gets them open by pump faking, angling his shoulders, and using his eyes to move the defense. Now, there's one instance that stands out in my mind of Favre and how he is such a smart player and uses some of these techniques to play football. It's against the San Francisco 49ers, where we won on the last-second throw from Favre to I forget the name of the receiver, but it was an awesome last-second catch for a touchdown that won the game. During that game, Favre was being rushed, and a defensive lineman had an open line on him, and Favre had the ball in his hands, and he looked right off to the sideline and pump faked off to the sideline. There was not a receiver in that direction, but the lineman just made a 90-degree turn and went towards the sideline, thinking that the ball was going to a receiver that was non-existent on the sideline. But Favre just pump faked that guy away from him. He totally redirected that defensive lineman away from rushing Favre for a sure sack to going to the sideline where there's a non-existent receiver. Favre had plenty of time to complete a pass. Just a very, very smart play, and a great example of what a good quarterback Favre was. So there's that. Let's wrap this with a request. We are working on a music segment to Minnesota Vikings Chat podcast, and we want to put together a Minnesota Vikings Chat or Minnesota Vikings music playlist. And so what I want to ask from you is to give me examples of the songs along with the names of the artists that you would include on your Vikings playlist. So if you were to create a Vikings music playlist, what would the songs be on them, and who are the artists for those songs? Leave them in the comments below, and we'll take those into account. We're putting together our own music segment and putting together our own Vikings playlist. And then finally, I want to thank everyone who participated in the Minnesota Vikings chat on Twitter and on Facebook during the game. I'd like to tell everyone who doesn't know that during every Vikings game we hold an online chat, and using the Vikings chat hashtag Vikings chat, so we can all see what everybody's saying. And so for everyone who participated on Twitter and on the Facebook page, I appreciate it. And please join us, for those who haven't, please join us for the next game and every game. And for that, I will wrap this segment or this episode of Minnesota Vikings Chat podcast. This is David Erickson, your host. You can find us at MinnesotaVikingsChat.com, on Twitter at twitter.com/MNVikingsChat, on Facebook at Facebook.com/MinnesotaVikingsChat, on YouTube, and do please subscribe to the YouTube channel on YouTube at YouTube.com/MinnesotaVikingsChat. Until next week, go Vikings.